You probably clicked on this video wondering if your country is one of the safest countries in the world if World War III were to break out. Well, I hate to break it to you, but the chances are highly unlikely. But don't worry, we've shortlisted these 4 countries based on these key factors: food security, energy independence, geopolitical stability, defense capabilities, strategic geography, and robust logistics. Before we get into the details, let's get real for a moment. The world is truly on the brink of another world war. Recent conflicts in Europe and the Middle East indicate that it might only be a matter of time before these conflicts explode into a massive global war. While most of the world suffers, some countries will remain relatively untouched, and these 4 countries would be the safest option for you and your family to live in. So, what makes a country safe during World War III? Let's start with the most crucial factor: geography. Location is everything in times of war. If you're residing within a nation that is actively participating, your chances of survival drop significantly. The same goes for having a nuclear-armed country as your neighbor. Here's a list of all the countries that possess nuclear weapons. If any of these is your country or neighbor, it's time to pack your bags. Another key factor is defense capabilities. A country with a strong defense system can protect its borders and maintain internal security more effectively. This includes a well-equipped military, advanced technology, and a robust infrastructure for defense. Countries with sophisticated missile defense systems, advanced air forces, and powerful navies can deter attacks and reduce the impact of conflict. Next is food security. Countries that can produce enough food to sustain their population have a significant advantage during times of crisis. An alternative to this would be having canned food that could last you for weeks and even months in a bunker. Also, having a surplus and a variety of options helps ensure that nutritional needs are met, reducing the risk of health issues during a global war. Geopolitics also plays a big role. Countries that maintain a neutral stance or have strong diplomatic relationships are less likely to become targets. This includes having alliances with powerful nations and participating in international organizations. Countries with skilled diplomats and strategic geopolitical positions can handle global tensions more effectively. Energy independence is another crucial factor. A nation that can supply its own energy needs without relying on external sources has a better chance of weathering the storm. It should have sufficient resources to keep it running and not excess to avoid unwanted attention from other invaders. Countries that can produce their own energy can maintain their infrastructure and support their population even when global supply chains are disrupted. Finally, we look at logistics. Nations with strong infrastructure and the ability to move goods and people efficiently are better equipped to handle the disruptions of war. Robust logistics ensure that essential supplies such as food, medicine, and equipment can be distributed quickly and effectively. Having such logistical strength provides a significant advantage in maintaining stability and safety. Considering these factors, it's clear why some countries stand out as the safest options. And here are the 4 safest countries in case of World War III. Unlike the previous world wars, modern technology has blessed us with the ability to fight one another over long distances using cyber warfare, long-range ballistic missiles, and space warfare. Very few regions would be untouched by the events of World War III. However, this does not mean there aren't any safe places to run to. One of your options would be a tropical island nation, far away from all the fighting and chaos. The good thing about islands in the Pacific Ocean is that they are really far away from each other and the mainland. The Pacific Ocean is a vast place, and if you don't mind warm climates and white sand beaches, then Fiji would not be a bad place. Fiji is located in the South Pacific Ocean, about 1,700 miles from Australia. It is the most developed island in the Pacific, with beautiful beaches and rich marine life. It has a very small military of around 6,000 individuals, so it would not be seen as a threat by either side. However, one of the best things Fiji has going for it in terms of remaining safe during World War III is that it doesn't have many natural resources within its borders. Beautiful beaches and a surplus of seafood tend not to be what the world's superpowers are after at war. This means Fiji would likely not be a target, making it one of the safest countries you could move to if World War III ever broke out. Even if Australia is attacked, 1,700 miles of ocean separates the two countries. Although it doesn't have strategic significance, it does have fertile lands to grow crops and plenty of ways to keep yourself busy. In fact, there are around 300 islands that make up the country of Fiji, so if you don't get along with your neighbors, you could just move to a different island. While the world would descend into chaos, you could be sipping pina coladas on a white sand beach, or better yet, you could be drinking the national beverage of Fiji, called kava, which is said to have medicinal properties. Now we move on to the second option, which is considered the safest country in the world according to the Global Peace Index: Iceland. Iceland is over 1,000 miles away from the United Kingdom and the rest of Europe, making it unlikely to face direct danger during World War III. Like many island nations, Iceland has abundant marine resources, allowing it to remain self-sufficient if a global conflict erupted. A significant advantage of Iceland comes from its energy independence. The country generates 100% of its energy from renewable resources, primarily geothermal energy, all within its borders. This means Iceland wouldn't need to procure oil, coal, or other forms of energy from abroad during a war, allowing it to focus on keeping its population safe. While some parts of Iceland are arid and harsh, the country has plenty of fresh water and seafood. Also, living in the mountains would offer isolation and protection, although resources would be scarcer. As long as you don't mind the colder climate, Iceland is a safe and dependable place to stay during global conflicts. Moving on, if being isolated on an island isn't an option for you, there are other nations that are closer to the action but would still offer some safety during World War III. One such country is Switzerland, a landlocked nation surrounded by France, Germany, Italy, and Austria. Remarkably, Switzerland hasn't fought a war in over 200 years, with its last battle being against Poland in 1815. Despite being in Europe, Switzerland is neither a member of the European Union nor NATO. The primary reason for its safety is its geography. Switzerland is divided into three parts: the Alps in the south, the Jura Mountains in the west and north, and the Swiss Plateau, where the majority of the population lives. During a war, the Swiss army has a strategic plan to retreat to the Alps. Here, 26,000 bunkers, along with anti-aircraft and machine guns, are in place. These mountains provide natural protection, making aerial or ground attacks extremely difficult. Moreover, every road, bridge, and tunnel in Switzerland is designed to be destroyed remotely to prevent enemy movement. Switzerland is also unique in its preparedness for a nuclear attack. It has enough nuclear shelters to accommodate its entire population, a law established since 1978. With 114% shelter capacity, it can also protect an additional 14% more people from outside. Hence, a nuclear war wouldn't significantly harm Switzerland, making it one of the safest places during a global conflict. And finally, the safest country to be in is New Zealand. Many of you would argue that Switzerland should be the safest option, but you need to account for one thing which is crucial during wars: logistics. As well defended as Switzerland is, it is almost entirely dependent on imports for its food. There simply isn't enough fertile land to support their population of 8.3 million. On the other hand, New Zealand boasts fertile land, abundant marine resources, and various landscapes that would provide protection even if a war reached the island. New Zealand is considered one of the safest countries in the world, and its unique geographic and environmental features make it an ideal refuge during global conflicts like World War III. The nation is located around 1,000 miles southeast of Australia, nestled deep in the South Pacific Ocean, providing natural isolation from the rest of the world. This remote location reduces the likelihood of being directly affected by global conflicts. Also, approximately 30% of New Zealand is protected land, ensuring ample areas where resources can be gathered and where you can hide away if needed. An often overlooked but significant resource in New Zealand is its sheep population. For every one person in New Zealand, there are 5 sheep. This means an abundant supply of wool for making clothes and a source of protein if times get hard. Sheep also help fertilize the land and can provide milk, making these useful creatures invaluable during a prolonged conflict. New Zealand's infrastructure is highly developed, and the country has been working on becoming self-sufficient for decades. This includes generating a significant portion of its energy from renewable resources, such as hydroelectric and geothermal power. Because of these efforts, New Zealand is well prepared to maintain essential services even during a global crisis. In addition to its natural resources and self-sufficiency, New Zealand consistently ranks as one of the top 10 happiest countries in the world, due to the steps the government has taken to ensure the country remains a safe and comfortable place to live. This commitment to peace and stability further enhances its appeal as a refuge during turbulent times. New Zealand also strives to remain a peaceful country, which means it will likely stay out of World War III altogether. Its commitment to neutrality and peaceful international relations is reflected in its high ranking on the Global Peace Index. And that concludes our video. So which other countries do you think would be safe during the next World War? Do let us know in the comments below.